beyond words to have been involved with Compassion Connect since 2006. And starting out, the mission of Compassion Connect is uniting the church to serve. So that's across denominational lines, across all those things that can divide us, but serving together out of our common love for Jesus. And so that is our passion, our mission, but there are many ways to do that, where whatever the needs are in the community, that's where we're to be Jesus' hands and feet. And so those of us that see Jesus wants to touch at-risk youth, we are his hands and feet, as imperfect as we might be. I heard an illustration recently from Tony Evans, who I adore, about the symphony, going to the symphony, and when you first come in and the orchestra is there and everybody is doing their own thing, they're tuning, all the instruments are going different ways, and he kind of described it as kind of, self stuff. People are doing their own self things, their own honing, their own working through of issues of their tools, not really thinking a lot about everyone else because they have their part to do. But then the conductor steps up and the music is unbelievable. And so that's kind of how we are, that we all have our stuff to learn, to work through, to do, to grow, to figure out, prayerfully working on that. And then we look to the conductor and we serve with each other, and he does amazingly beautiful, beautiful work. So thank you. I see you all as being in the symphony orchestra, and I know the Lord is pleased with what he is going to do through all of you. Adorned in Grace Design Studio was formed with the idea of coming into the lives. We're currently our location is Southeast 122nd, just north of Division. Very, very high crime, low income neighborhood with lots of girls that are targets for being exploited. We work a lot with girls living in foster care and shelter just because we know they're in a vulnerable situation. We, Adorned in Grace, Abolition Now, Compassion Connect, has had a 7-year history of working with adult survivors of sex trafficking. Wonderful work. I love the work that we were able to do, and we learned so much along there. But this year, we've decided that we will continue the crisis prevention for women who have been exploited, survivors, those coming out of trafficking. We will help them get to a safe place. We will support them getting into residential care. Those kinds of crisis prevention is important to us. But we are putting much, much more of our energy into the design studio model, which is serving the at-risk youth. One of the reasons that we felt this was so important is that the adult survivors that we were serving had moms, grandmas who had been exploited. We're now seeing them have children. And we know that the heart's desire of those survivors is for their children to not have to have that same destiny for them. They want the help. They appreciate the help. We don't become the parent. We come alongside the parent and the families and the youth to just breathe into them whatever it is that the Lord gives each of us individually. So I have a real passion for the design studio model. We are looking to expand that model, and I'm going to let one of our coordinators share with you how we're doing that. But other than the actual models, the way that we do design studio, and if you got to see the pictures, they do sewing, they do cooking, they do photography, nutrition, all kinds of wonderful life skills side by side with a mentor and teachers that really care about them, that just give up of themselves, sacrifice for them. And they get it. They see that and they realize that they're worthwhile. And our mentors might think, that I'm going to do this for a year. does that ever work? Does it ever end? That we have mentors in this room that are lifelong supporters of these girls. These girls will call them, they'll be the first ones that they call if they have a crisis situation, or even if they just have a question. They remember their mentors and want to get in touch with them, go for coffee, even if though it's been years since they were doing workshops at the design studio. That connection with their mentors is a forever blessing. And so I am going to ask, I've got two lovely women that we absolutely adore working with. The first one that's going to share is going to give a little bit of her testimony of what it means to be a mentor alongside girls at the design studio. I'd like to introduce Carol John, who herself is a counselor. She's a student at Western Seminary getting her master's in counseling. And besides doing that, working and being very involved in leadership at her church, she carved out time to be a mentor at the design studio. So please welcome Carol John.
I didn't realize I was going to be alone up here. Hi, my name's Carol, and I, like Linda said, have been volunteering at the design studio for four years now, which is kind of mind-blowing because if I try to recall the kind of person I was when I started volunteering with the person that I am now, they're actually vastly different. Part of the reason I say that is because before I got married, I met with Gary and with Linda and at the time Darlene, and we were talking about human trafficking, and my now husband and I were involved in human trafficking efforts in India. And it seemed like a great idea, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to step fully into the trafficking scene here in Portland. And I remember after I got married, I met up with Linda again, and she told me to just come over to the design studio. And I went, and we had a meeting right before they had a design studio, and then I got stuck. So the girls were like, "Who's that?" And then they asked me what my name was. But then they actually, before they asked me what my name was, they asked me where I was from. And I said, I'm from Brooklyn, from New York. And they're like, no, but where are you really from? And I said, my parents are from India. And they're like, cool, we're going to call you India now. So, yeah, I think like since then they had already like titled me, gave me a role. I was there, and I just kind of kept coming back. It wasn't anything fancy. I wasn't like ordained into becoming a mentor. I think it was a couple of weeks after that like, and Tina's here, so a couple of weeks after that one of the girls actually ran away from her home. And so, yeah, I think I got like plugged in on the deep end. Just kind of seeing other people do what it takes to be a mentor, and realizing I wasn't sure if I wanted to step into this, but now I'm already in it, and I really couldn't imagine myself walking away. And it was really painful and stressful at times because I go to school, I'm newly married. I was interning with juveniles in Washington County and working. And I was struggling to kind of keep my head above the water while like trying to support girls who need rides, and like trying to be fun all the time. So it felt kind of like a heavy responsibility. And I remember like sitting in small group at my church once and kind of just talking about it. And my really good friend, Carol Kaplinger, was like, hey, I can help out. Like, I'm really good at driving. I'm really good at making food, all the things I'm not good at. And she just kind of stepped in and joined me by being a friend to me. And she became really amazing friends to the girls. And I think the most exciting part for me now is seeing my church be so involved. I think not hiding the fact that, whoa, this is hard, was really helpful. And inviting them in small, tangible ways. Now I don't really worry if the girls have people, because I know they do. I know that there's lots of people they can talk to, and I'm not their only sole person. They've been welcomed into a family. And it's kind of cool to see them doing all sorts of things. They all thought I was an expert sewer, but I had learned it along with them. So I'm like Googling stuff as they're like asking me, how do you do this? And I was like, hold on, the video won't load. But they never minded, and they kept coming back week after week, even though like I wasn't teaching them anything. Sorry. And I don't know. I think that part has just been really exciting because they just wanted someone to be there who wanted to spend time with them, and I think that very small piece is something anyone can do. You don't have to be an expert in spending time with people. You already do it. I mean, you're in this room right now. So I don't know. I think that's as much as I can share about my experience. I don't actually have, I have like crazy work weeks, and so I haven't been able to go back to the design studio week after week right now, which has been really hard for me because in a lot of ways they are my family. But it's cool because I'll still go grab ice cream with them or drop by intermittently, and they get so excited to see me. It's kind of like, you know, when you go home and your puppy gets really excited. And it's really warming. I think it's something that's really hard to put into words, but I think it's the nature of relationship in the way that we often see people respond to Jesus. And so, yeah, it's been a real privilege, and I think that the blessing is mine more than I mean, they'd say that we've blessed them, but I think that the blessing has really been mine. So, yeah.
Thank you. We have a number of mentors in the room that have done so amazing with our girls, and we love them, but we need more. We need more mentors because it's a big job. It really is. And we spread that work out, and it's more people that the girls know love them. It's not just one person then that loves me. I've got a family, and it's multi-generational. That's what's really exciting about it. We've got, you know, the ones that are like the older sister or the aunt or the mom or the grandma. We've got great grandmas that come alongside and teach them to sew and just encourage them in different ways. So it's just I love the model. However, we've always had the desire to take the design studio up a notch. Not that the outreach isn't absolutely wonderful, and we've seen great fruit from that. We just know that we can do even more for the girls. So we have recently piloted a youth entrepreneurship program at the design studio that we are excited to see expand. And I would like to have Dana Pear tell you a little bit about that. She came to us as an intern from Multnomah University or seminary, however I think it's seminary. It's grad stuff. But it's the Global Leadership and Development Program.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Okay, close enough. Anyway, she came to us as an internship and just knocked our socks off with how she poured herself into it. So we said, you really need to stay after the internship's done. We want you to stay. So we got her to stay. So I'll let her explain what that is.
Right, yeah, so basically what we've been doing, like she said, it's a youth entrepreneurship program, which is really just a fancy word for a jewelry workshop. So basically we were trying to think, like, how can we help prepare our girls? We're giving them mentorship and we're creating this safe space. We're building these relationships, we're doing homework help, but what can we do that when they walk across that stage, they turned 18, they graduate, and technically they're too old to come to the design studio. We still love them. We're obviously not kicking them out, but what can we do to help better prepare them so when they're in, you know, a situation that they may need to, that maybe they need money, or maybe they have gotten into a bad relationship, that what kinds of skills can we give to them to continue to empower them beyond graduation? So we have an awesome jewelry designer who's Christina is actually here with us today in the back, who has come on board and has designed this beautiful, you probably saw a couple of the pictures up there, beautiful line of bridal jewelry that we're going to put in the bridal shops. And they've just been learning how to make the jewelry, and so far it's been going really well. The girls love it. We had this past week, Eric Murphy, who's actually here with us today as well, came and did a little intro to business with them. So we're teaching them business skills, we're teaching them resume writing, anything you can think of that could go into like a creative business, but could also transfer into like life skills as well. And I mean, they were so attentive to Eric. We were joking that they took more notes in his hour presentation than he did in all of high school, according to him. Yeah, we're just really excited to see where this goes and how this can grow, and really kind of, like she was saying, have another level, especially for our older girls, to help prepare them for the long run.
DHS, the Human Services Department, has 50 kids that are considered commercial sexually exploited children. And Gary and I met with them last week. They would like us to do an advanced program for similar to what Dana was sharing with you, so that these kids have opportunity to learn life skills, to learn how to write a resume, to learn how to interview, and to learn some tangible skills. What does it mean to even start a small business? Different types of things like that. That our dreams are really to just expand that vision. And it's the church that has the tools, the resources. We have gifted people. In Tacoma, our Tacoma team has a dentist that is offering dental assistant training to survivors of trafficking. We want to see that type of thing expand to where the church is united and will offer opportunities to these kids to help them get jobs so that they don't have to sell their bodies. So we've got great things planned. We're very excited. We want you to be a part. If you're not a part of our particular dream, we want you to be a part of working with youth in another ministry. And I know the fact you're here, that you want to go out and do that, expand it. So what you can do now, and before I go to these last couple of things, I want to thank the team that put this together. Rachel Murphy is our site coordinator for the design studio, and she really put this all together, and I just thank you so much. And Emily, you were amazing. Marie, thank you. Maddie, Robin was here last night. Who am I forgetting? Dana, yes, of course, Dana. Thank you all. Wasn't lunch great? I loved it. So, a couple things that you can keep in mind for next steps. They're in your packet. There are job descriptions. So, putting together any type of work like this, there's always lots of different possibilities for how you can be involved. So, you may look at it and say, oh, well, I can't teach sewing, but can you do snacks, or can you cook, teach the girls, or can you give rides? There are just so many different things as we come together. There's also the possibility of expanding the advanced training, where if you have a skill, a computer skill, we have a computer lab at the design studio, or if you're a tutor, many ways and things that you can partner to come alongside at-risk youth. There is a basket on the back table. If anybody thinks, I can give money, there is a basket there. We are raising money for toolkits for the jewelry, so that each of the girls can have their own jewelry kit. So when they graduate from the program, they can take that with them, and they could essentially have their own little income generating business. They do earn educational stipends now for the work that they do through this program, and we want to continue those kinds of opportunities, but this would allow them a chance to have their own kit to take, and those are $35 a piece, and there's a basket back there if you want to support a girl with a jewelry design kit and the tools for that. Church engagement. If your church needs to hear from some of the speakers we've had, or that you will hear today, or wants to hear about the vision of Compassion Connect, the design studio, we would love. We have a program for church engagement that we can come in, share our vision, share how we can work with them. We are working with 4 churches in Clackamas County right now. This Thursday night, we're having a prayer meeting to just really seek the Lord on. They've already been meeting. They know they want to do a design studio model in Clackamas County, but the location, the timing, all of those details, they are fervently praying, and we're doing that this Thursday night at Sunnyside Foursquare. You can join us at 6:30 if you'd like. The Adorning Grace Bridal Shop, if you haven't heard of that, that is a way that if you're not, okay, I don't even like teenagers, but I want to support teenagers, you can be a volunteer sales associate at one of our bridal shops. We've got one in Raleigh Hills and one in Gresham, and it is just an amazing way to raise awareness of the issue of trafficking, letting those brides know that when they buy a dress there, that they are supporting vulnerable women and girls. And what a delight, the most important day of your life, and you're not a bridezilla, you know that what you have paid for your beautiful gown, and you've got to go see them, they are beautiful gowns, but that money goes toward helping others, and our brides, I love our brides. So that's a possibility. There should be some things in your packets. If not, there's more at the back table. Or you can connect with Compassion Connect in other ways or with other organizations. But do determine what it is God is calling you to do, and then take those steps. Let us know how we can help you. So we just had a break, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just have Micah go ahead and come on up. We have known Micah for a number of years. He was youth pastor in this church, and the church that we're a part of. And